You're listening to Short History Shorts audio, where history speaks louder than images. High above the plains of Argolis, perched on a rocky hill between two mountains, sits a fortress of stone and silence. Its gates are flanked by lions carved in relief, its walls so immense the Greeks believed only giants, cyclopes, could have built them. This is Mycenae, the seat of kings who ruled before history had a name, the shadowy world behind Homer's Iliad. The Mycenaeans were not myth, they were real, and for nearly 4 centuries they shaped the Aegean world with bronze, ambition, and war. This is their story, a tale of power, splendor, and sudden ruin. Mycenae emerged around 1600 BC as a local center in a world already old. But something changed. From scattered settlements across mainland Greece, a warrior aristocracy rose, centered at Mycenae, Tiryns, Pylos, Thebes, and Athens. Of these, Mycenae became the strongest. By 1400 BC, its kings dominated much of southern Greece and even parts of Crete, taking over the last vestiges of Minoan power. The Mycenaeans were the first true Greeks, speakers of an early Greek dialect, users of the linear B script, and builders of the first palatial states on the mainland. Their power came from war. Mycenaeans were aggressive, expansionist, and heavily militarized. They built massive stone fortresses with narrow entrances and hidden cisterns. They buried their elites in shaft graves and tholos tombs, circular burial chambers covered with earth, filled with golden masks, bronze weapons, ivory carvings, and imported goods from Egypt and the Near East. The famous Mask of Agamemnon, unearthed by Heinrich Schliemann in the 19th century, was claimed, falsely, to be the face of Homer's tragic king. Yet even if the identity was wrong, the symbolism was not. The wealth of Mycenae was vast, its reach broad, its kings proud. Mycenaean palaces were both administrative and religious centers. At their peak, they managed complex economies, storing grain, oil, textiles, and metals. Linear B tablets show that these palaces controlled thousands of workers, warriors, and slaves. The bureaucracy was rigid but effective. Their religion mirrored that of later Greece. Early versions of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hera appear in texts, but with a deeper focus on war and kingship. Chariots and bronze swords were symbols not just of power, but of divine favor. And yet, for all this control, the Mycenaean world was not unified. It was a patchwork of rival kingdoms, sometimes cooperating, sometimes clashing. We see glimpses of this fragmentation in Homer, where Agamemnon is nominally king of all Achaeans, but each ruler, Odysseus of Ithaca, Nestor of Pylos, Achilles of Phthia, commands his own men. Whether the Trojan War really happened is debated, but Troy itself was real. Mycenaeans traded with or fought against Anatolian cities. The destruction layer at Troy Sever, around 1200 BC, matches the period when Mycenaean power was peaking and beginning to unravel. What caused the fall? Around 1200 BC, the palaces burned. One by one, Mycenae, Pylos, Tiryns, they collapsed. Some blame the sea peoples, mysterious raiders who attacked the eastern Mediterranean. Others suggest internal revolt, earthquakes, or the slow decline of palace economies dependent on elite control. In truth, it was likely a mix, a system under stress, unable to adapt. After the collapse, the linear B script vanished. Cities were abandoned. Greece entered a dark age. For 400 years, literacy disappeared. The great palaces became ruins, the tombs looted, the kings forgotten, but not forever. In oral memory, the Mycenaean world survived. Its warriors became Homer's heroes, Agamemnon, Achilles, Menelaus, and Hector. Their palaces became scenes of epic tragedy, their wars the stage for gods and fate. When Greeks of the classical age looked upon the Lion Gate or the massive Tholos tombs, they marveled, not just at the architecture, but at the ghosts of their own past. Mycenae, said Pausanias centuries later, was once rich in gold and mighty in war. Archaeology brought Mycenae back to life. In 1876, Schliemann unearthed its tombs, convinced he had found the graves of Homer's heroes. Though modern scholarship is more cautious, the impact was profound. These were no longer just myths. The Mycenaeans were real and they were powerful. Today, the site of Mycenae is still crowned by its Lion Gate, still watched by silent stones. The bones of kings lie beneath grassy mounds. Their weapons are dulled. Their palaces are in ruin. but their legacy, through Homer, through history, remained sharp. Mycenae was not the beginning of Greek civilization, but it was the first great act. And like all tragic epics, its end was as grand as its rise. This has been Short History Shorts Audio. Subscribe for more stories from the Bronze Dawn of history, where warriors shaped kingdoms and memory outlasted empires.